This is going to be a video showing off my Intel journey inside the computer kit. This was originally given out to schools in 1998. I do have another video on my channel where I show off the chip kit. That's just one of the three parts in this big kit. But now I found a listing for the whole kit, and I bid it up and I won this one. I'm making this video, well, A, because I have the full kit now and I can finally make a full video on it, and because Linus Tech Tips made a video on the second edition of the kit, so I figured I could maybe take some of the reviews from it and jump on the wave. Now, I originally asked the Linus Tech Tips team if they wanted to borrow this kit, and we had a couple emails back and forth, and they said that they would be interested in it, and they'd let me know. I waited for about a week. I didn't get any response. Sent them another email. I just asked, hey, is there any updates on if you guys are if you guys want to borrow it from me? And they, they said, yeah, we'll send you an email in the next 2 weeks, and got nothing back. I sent them an email in 3 weeks. They just completely stopped responding to me. So I guess I think that they got the idea to make a video on the second edition from my email, and then they had all discussions and they just stopped talking to me. So yeah, it was kind of rude on their part to stop responding to me. I mean, I figured they were probably getting my emails. I don't see why they wouldn't, seeing as how they already did respond to me. So I'll open it up. So on the inside, there's all of these right here. There's a chip kit. I made a video on this. I'm still going to show it though. This one actually includes a much nicer wafer. Videotapes. Both of these videos are already on my channel. And then there's the teacher's guide. This is still even unopened. Originally this whole kit was unopened. That's why I thought it would be good to send to Linus. So we'll look at the chip kit first. This, I will show the wafer. I'll show the wafer later under the microscope. That'll probably be later in the video, or I might actually choose to edit it in right now. So here it is. This includes everything original. This isn't like the gold one that I got, but this one's much nicer because it actually includes some sort of microprocessor. Mine was just a RAM or something. It was an array of something. Oh, there's my phone. Excuse me. So you can see that this one actually has something unique on it. It's more of a processor. And I'll look at this one underneath the microscope, and we'll try to see what it is. So the other parts that this chip kit includes are the batteries, of course. It includes some lamps. These are some LEDs. These are 9-volt battery connectors. There's just some loose wire. These are switches. And then includes some transistors down here. I believe these are tip 31C. It's a tip 48. So here is the two little silicon dies. I'll see if I can sort these. There. So these are both dead dies. The one I got in my kit had one working die and one dead die. I'll show these under the microscope too later. And then this one also includes, they all include a mechanical sample, which is just, I'm pretty sure it's just there's no silicon underneath here. I mean, you'd have to x-ray it to know, but I'm pretty sure that's what the mechanical sample is. And then there's also some electrical tape, and I think a couple of these batteries, I used the multimeter to test them. A couple of them were still good, but most of them have gone flat over the years. But that is surprising, seeing as how these have been here since 1998. So next thing I'm going to look at is the videotapes, because this will be short. Yeah, so here's the student video. I've already uploaded both of these, but that's just what it looks like on the inside. I kept all the plastic protective tape on just so they could protect the plastic. There's the back of it. So 72 minutes, nothing on the sides, pretty basic. And then here's the, oops, slid out a bit, teacher's introduction to the back. This one's significantly shorter than the student video because it's just an overview right there. And here's the teacher's guide. Now mine has a bit of a bow in it just because that's probably how it came, and it could be just because it's old. Now you notice this one is still sealed. And actually in here I stored the original letter that it came with and the poster. So here's the letter. Thank you for the journey inside. Right there. Some of them have a, dear this school, right? Because some of these were actually custom made for the school. And then I have the poster in here. I'll probably show a picture of this right now, just because I can't really fit it in the frame. So I'm gonna go get some scissors and open it up now. Okay, so I've got an X-Acto knife. Just gonna open it. Okay, so here it is unboxed. I was thinking I could photo scan this. It would take a very long time to go through all of it. But just, leave a couple comments and I will maybe photocopy it. But it'd be a lot of work. I'm just gonna, look through them a little bit. So there's networking, digital information, microprocessors. It's all outdated information by now. Some of it. This is more for the teacher to look at and then teach to the students. It's not really designed for, students to look for it or look through it. You can see these papers are really, really crisp. So there's all the different units in here. And then there's the appendix. And then next there is, I believe, these are actual screenshots of the chip right here. So I'm going to open this next. Okay, so I just got it all unwrapped. So it's this nice glossy paper, and you can actually see that it's see here, like that, so you can see. I believe these might have been intended for a projector. Now that I think about it, or maybe not. Yeah, so you can see through the paper. Maybe it is for a projector. It's a pretty old look at a computer. CPU would normally be more up there, and power supply more on the sides, and that's a lot different. Okay, so this is showing the ENIAC, and I actually have a piece of core memory from a UNIVAC system. This is dated 1971. You can see that this uses ferrite core memory. These are just for display. I have them on there. Those are not original. But there's two lines in here, so there's there's a positive and negative, and then there's a sense line. And that can sense which way that these little ferrite beads in here are switched. This is I think this is 4 kilobytes. I don't remember what it is, but you can see it's set out like a plane. In fact, it's labeled down here, X direction and Y direction. There's the part number, the serial number, UA-1971. The UNIVAC was I think it was a successor of the ENIAC. Not super clear on the history. Up here's a pixel. It's funny. Oh, and this is the progression from the vacuum tube to the transistor to the microprocessor. It's a dime per scale. I have a display showing the other dies that I got in the other chip kit right here. So you can see, here's the Pentium die right there, and then that's the dead die. I showed these in the other video up close with the microscope. And here's the Pentium in a mechanical sample. Yes, there is a scratch on this. These are kind of cheap frames. This is the inside of a transistor. So you've got that's a NPN. Oh, there's masking. That's the clean room at the Intel factory. There's a table of converting binaries. I think you might this would probably be something where you'd fill it out with a whiteboard marker or something, and then you'd show that on the projector. It's a whole table for converting to AC. Oh, yeah. Circuit diagram symbols. I think a couple of these look different now. That must be converting using the ASCII in binary. Wow, so that's a 1 gigabyte drive, and of course we have like 24 terabytes now on a single drive? Terabytes, so that's 24,000 times bigger than that 1 gig drive. And of course we have NVMEs that store 1,000 times that and can access, of course the one on here is even slower than today's modern one, so I mean NVMe would just be so much faster than a 1 gig drive from back then. And yeah, floppy disk to 1.44 meg. I have a couple of those. They're 800 kilobyte and let's see, 400 kilobyte for the Macintosh that I showed in another video. That's just a random circuit board, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what it does. I mean, if I spent some more time with it, I might be able to figure it out. So that must be one layer of some Pentium chip. Must be another layer? Yeah. Oh, so you know what you do here is you could overlay these, and then we could see the whole chip. Gee, let's see, how many layers is this? Is this built up? Yeah, we'll do that. I will cut to these being overlaid. Alright, so there's all of them lined up. You can't really see that much. I mean, I lined them up as best as I could. So they're really staticky because they're so dry, and it's just, you know, that plastic film paper. But I guess that's kind of what the Pentium chip looks like. As a cross-section view. I mean, they're much more complex than that. This really doesn't show the full thing, but nonetheless, it's still interesting. I just thought it would be interesting to show this. I mean, we already looked through the book, but this is the end. So let's see if we can get a replacement for a lot of these items, and there's a wafer right here. We might be able to get a I bet you that's not available anymore, but I just thought it was funny that you can get a replacement wafer if you want. That I doubt that you'd be able to do it now. And then here's a evaluation form, just where you can see, like, you know, do you plan to use the kit next year, and it just fills it out. You can send it to Intel right here, to the IDEA programs for the evaluation. Alright, and that's the end of the book. I'm gonna cut to showing the silicon wafers now underneath the microscope. Okay, so here you can see this is the large silicon wafer underneath the microscope. You can see that this one actually looks like it's a processor. Now, the other wafer that I had looked more like a NAND or flash wafer. I don't know exactly what type of memory they were manufacturing. At least Intel was manufacturing back then. But you can see, I'm no microprocessor expert, so I don't know what all this stuff is supposed to look like. But this is just one of the chips on the actual silicon wafer. Last time I was able to find, I think I was able to find the Intel logo somewhere, or that might have been on the smaller chips. I'm going to show those in about a minute. You can see these chips. It could also be very, more microscopic. So because I can guarantee that Intel put their logo on here somewhere. This could also be an incomplete wafer. So they might have not done, all the processes on it. It might not be ready to cut out and then take these chips and put them onto a processor. These are also really small chips. So I can measure here. You can see, oops. The chips are about 4.5 millimeters square. So 4.5 by 4.5. So I'm not actually sure, what these are. I think these are a bit smaller than what you would expect to see on like a Pentium. And some of these kits did have Pentium processors, but those are extremely rare to find one that has a Pentium processor wafer. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get the chips. Okay, so here is the chip. Now this is the larger of the two. Now they both have dots in it, so these are both considered bad by Intel standards. You can see down at the left, or like middle-ish, little pads on there. This chip was definitely tested. That's where they connected up to like the testing machine. Here's one of the corners. I'm having to use a little plastic bag and then both my thumbs to move it around, because it's very lightweight and hard to move and very fragile. There's the bag. So we're going to go into the other side now. Now in my other video I was able to find Intel. Oh, there it is, right there. Alright, so this is the closest that I was able to get to the Intel logo. You can see right on there. If I increase the darkness. Looks like it's the Intel 92 to 95. That might be an 8 actually. 92, 95. Okay, so after I did some searching, it appears that this is a Intel Pentium mobile processor with MMX technology. I just looked up the 80P55C, and it appears that that is the processor that it goes to. There's a whole Intel internal document that you can find that has all this information on it. Okay, so there's the number for this one. We can see that's an 80502. And if I look this one up, it looks like it's a Pentium 100 or P54. The date was 1994 to 1996, which doesn't match up with the date on there. So this would have been a 100 megahertz Intel processor according to the number that's up there, the Intel 80502. Or at least I think that's what it is. I'm not super great at the old Intel stuff. Yeah, so there's not really much you can see up here. It's just, looks like a typical silicon wafer. but I'll try to see if we can find the dot, which should be, there's the dot. This dot is just a little hole that's, I think, been burned in with a laser, but either way, it's just to indicate that it's a bad chip and then it should not be put onto a final product, which is also why there's all these dots here. That shows that it has been tested and they know that it's bad. Alright, so I hope you liked my video on the Intel The Journey Inside the Computer, the 3rd edition, and this is the full kit version, unlike my other video, which was just the chips. Thanks for watching.